not worth it. But when you're with certain people or you have certain friends, then it kind of changes that.
My pastor said many years ago, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future." You've heard the saying, birds of a feather flock together. First things first, and what I tell my daughter, everyone is not your friend. Only you can decide who your real friends are, so be choosy of the company that you keep. If you have friends that are promiscuous, you're going to find yourself in situations where sex and other inappropriate activity will arise. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Think about it. What do you want your future to be? And think about what it's going to take for you to get there. If you're having sex, you should be ready to be a mother. And if you are not ready to be a mother, you should not be having sex. I asked Trevon, how did holding off on motherhood contribute to her success?
I think it contributed a lot to my success, being that I was able to go to college and finish in 4 years. I worked full-time while I was in school. I was able to have a successful career at a young age just because I had a lot more time than other people, going to work and working 2 to 10, you know, not having to worry about taking care of a child and
rushing to the daycare.
Exactly. So it gave me a lot more room to grow into my career. I travel a lot, so that's another thing that I wouldn't be able to do had I decided to have a child.
Dr. Niles also schooled me on the effects of STDs with young people. Did you know that cancer can be in your future if you become sexually active too soon?
Sexually transmitted diseases are a major concern because there's a condition called HPV, human papillomavirus, which can cause cervical cancer. There's been a lot in the media about getting a vaccine to prevent that. Unfortunately, the vaccine doesn't work on all because there's 16 different variants and only 4 of them are in the vaccine, just like with the flu vaccine. You get a flu vaccine 1 year and it's not effective the next year. So there's no protection. You need to look at that when I'm saying about physically and emotionally ready, also physically and emotionally ready to have intercourse and have a relationship that may lead to a sexually transmitted disease.
What has been your experience with young ladies and sexually transmitted diseases?
The problem with HPV, or human papillomavirus, is that as a virus, teenage girls, young teenage girls, do not have a developed immune system to ward off that particular virus. It's a very high incidence of that. It leads to abnormal pap smears. They have to come back for biopsies. They have to go back for cone biopsies, freezing treatments, any number of different things to try to correct or control this so it doesn't advance to dysplasia or cervical cancer. Now, the incidence of cervical cancer is small, but there's that risk associated. If someone were to drop out of the surveillance system, they could develop a cervical cancer later just from having one sexual activity.
A third of teenage moms or teenage pregnancies, and they terminate them. What about the health concerns with that, with undergoing that type of procedure?
As I mentioned earlier, many times a teenager will conceal the fact that she's pregnant until it's very late, second trimester. Any procedures can be done, but what happens is with that procedure, you can get a condition, I don't want to get technical, but it's called incompetent cervix, where the opening of the womb is stretched to allow this larger conceptions to be removed. So later on, when she decides she wants to have a child again, then she is more of a candidate for preterm labor and prematurity. Prematurity leads to cerebral palsy. So you have a cascading effect of complications associated with a termination in the second trimester.
Because I'm reading and I'm seeing that some young ladies or women in general use abortion almost as a form of birth control these days. And now you're saying that can open up a can of worms for you in the future.
And the problem too is, and I see it in practice, I've been, as I told you, been in too many years. But what I see is the fact that many times someone will have a termination when they're young, sometime in college, and then when they're in their 30s, they've achieved their career, they're trying to have a child and they can't. And the guilt goes back to that situation where they made that decision to terminate that pregnancy, and it can be an emotional heartbreak for that particular person.
I had the privilege to speak to Christina Stewart-Vint about her nonprofit and helping young women and their children get what they need to be successful. So why did you start your nonprofit organization?
I started Dream Life because I wanted to develop a center where young mothers can go for mentorship and resources that they needed to accomplish their dreams and to be independent and stable and won't have to rely on government-assisted programs or friends or family. They have everything they need within themselves to become everything they want to be in life despite having a child or any other circumstances that they come across.
We tend to carry so many different loads, and we want to be very good mothers, and we want to be good housekeepers, and we want to be career women, and we want to be cute, and we want to, you know, still have a social life. How do you find, or how are you able to balance it all? And you run a nonprofit organization to help other people.
Yeah, I think the encouragement that I get from my friends, like I could be really stressed out planning events for Dream Life and making sure Monty is okay and doing my full-time job, but everybody around me is like, wow, you're doing a really good job. I can't believe you're doing this. Where do you get all this drive from? And I'm like, I don't know, it's just in me, and they keep pushing me, all my friends and family, so they're really supportive, and I just keep on going. Like, I know I set plans, I set goals, and I just try to achieve them one step at a time.
I am very thankful for my supportive family. I would not have survived without them. And I've met so many angels along my journey too. I want to take a moment to show my appreciation to Miss Kim at Rainbow Childcare in Bowie, Maryland. I met you at my daughter's one of her first daycares when they were shutting down, and I will never forget. They had the table set up, and we were like interviewing or meeting these different centers. And I got to your table, and you were like, "Look, you're gonna love my center." You were so confident. I said, "I got to check this out," and I really did. It was unmatched. I'm talking about just professionality. Looking clean and decent and beautiful and welcoming and smiling faces. So tell us about Rainbow.
Rainbow started almost 20 years ago, and I actually was controller of a company. In addition to that, I had a business already running. And I went to church one Sunday, and our pastor told us to pray for the purpose of your life, because if you do that, you'll be most fulfilled. So I went home and I prayed, and I asked God what he put me here for. And I said, whatever it is, just move me into it. And within a year's time, I opened Rainbow in the basement of my home. I turned it into a preschool, and I asked my business partner, Maria Campbell, to come with me. She's my sister, and she did, and Rainbow started. And it was because also, how did God tell me? I could not find the care that I needed for my child.
That's serious. Yeah. Like I said, when I'm telling you, when you all go into Rainbow, it is not like anything else that you have seen. It's just perfect. I would go interview some places, and I was very picky because I think the thing with me is the cleanliness. I just need it to look decent. I don't know. Who knows what's happening there when you leave, honestly. But I need to at least see this place shining and colorful. And, you know, you guys got the paintings when you first come in. It's just a beautiful, happy-looking place to be.
It's important to me that the children love where they're coming, that they get everything they need. So it was my idea, because I couldn't find the care I needed for my son at the time, who was almost 2, and he was in a very difficult situation with someone, and had a daughter who was 8 at the time, and I wanted to be at home with her. You know, just be able to take her to school and pick her up from school, because my mom was able to. And so it was really important to me to get this started, to be there for my children. And so when I thought about what I wanted for my children, I wanted the same for everybody else's. I wanted a nice, beautiful, clean, happy place where the children could learn and thrive and develop and be just all that they could be. And because of it, you know, the children at Rainbow have done extremely well. I started almost 20 years ago in the basement of my home, and now we have 2 centers, 2 locations. Of course, one in Bowie, the one that you had your daughter at, and we have one in Fort Washington, which is really where we started. And they've done very well. And the children test usually on a second grade level when they leave us. And that was important to me. We want to teach them how to learn, how to love learning, and just, you know, just make it all that they could want.
That's amazing that you say that, because that's my baby. Kenzie, when she left, well, first of all, her birthday was way behind, so she wasn't supposed to start school. And I said she could start. Tell me how to get her in. And they said, well, she's got to take this test and so and so and so. And I knew she was ready, and she took that test, and she started school a year early.
Right.
Well, not technically a year early. Her birthday fell late, and I wanted her to start early, so it wasn't exactly a whole year, but she's a year ahead than where she's supposed to be.
But actually she was, because when with the cutoff, she wasn't supposed to start until the next year.
Right.
But you have a very bright daughter anyway, and you've done a great job raising her, so it was easy for us to be able to do what we did with her.
The curriculum, you all actually, it's like the little ones get work to go home that they're excited about, and they get to sing, and they go on field trips, and they had dance recitals. I mean, it was really a good experience for the place that I was at in my life. Dang. For the place that I was at in my life, that part was okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that was an important thing. One of the things as an owner, I'm there every day, almost every day, all day, because I get so much enjoyment out of it. Because I love the children, because I want to make sure that they're getting everything they need, and because I want to be there for the parents.
And you were.
Yeah, I want to be there for all of you, and to supply, you know, just, and we keep growing. We you know, now the recital is huge. Now we have almost 800 parents at the dance recitals.
It was a big deal. I mean,
it's a production now. And then graduation is a huge production now. And you know, and I'm constantly looking at ways that we can improve. We have a music teacher this year. We have a Spanish immersion program this year. We have art. One of our parents was really wonderful and donated lots of computers to us. So, you know, all the classrooms have what they need, and it's just it's a wonderful, wonderful program.
You all include the meals too?
Oh yeah, yeah. All the meals are included.
Again, at that point in my life, for not to have to worry about packing snack and lunch money. I mean, and I knew that she was gonna eat something decent. You have no idea. That's why I had to call you, because that point, there was so much going on for me, and to be able to, you know, you'd send your kids to daycare for how many hours a day? That I knew she was okay there. I trusted Miss Brenda. I trusted Carmen. I trusted the faces that I knew that they were good people. And I knew that she was getting what she needed. I knew that she was in a safe environment and where you could talk to people too. You know, if you had any questions or concerns, you could go and not feel. And that was the issue with the center that I was at before, where, you know, you approached them and they felt like they were beyond reproach. Well, you can't ask questions about what we do here, but I felt like there was always open door policy, you know, open communication. I mean, it's just a phenomenal place to be. I mean, it really was.
Thank you. That's what we strive for there. We have wonderful teachers there, and they are very caring and very devoted. We have teachers there who are actually on the premises for 12 hours a day because they choose to be. Just loving it. The meals are wonderful meals. They're from the heart meals, I call them, because I put a lot of effort into the menus. And we're moving more into more of a vegetarian menu now because I think it's healthier for the children. We now serve organic milk because it's healthier for the children. So everything I wanted from my own.
Dang, I wish I could just send Kenzie there for second grade.
I wish you could too. We will be hopefully increasing in grades very soon. We're working on that now.
It was like a little academy. I mean,
that's what it is.
Because the kids wear uniforms.
Right.
I still have Kenzie's ribbon. She asked me, why do you have this? And I don't want to give it away, that little tie. It's just so adorable to me. They got the sweaters. They took school pictures. I mean, it was really far beyond anything that anybody could want for their child. You can't skimp on that type of thing.